A girl loses a fun challenge. Then she's given a tickling punishment. But what happens next will completely blow your mind. So stay till the end of the video. Friends, it was Christmas evening, in an old villa nestled among the snowy valleys of Montana. Four childhood friends, Oliver, Emily, Liam, and Sarah, had gathered again after many years. They had come to fulfill an old promise they made back in high school. Emily, always cheerful and fond of adventure, suggested they play their old favorite fun challenge, the silent stare. The rule was simple: stare into each other's eyes, and whoever laughed first would receive a punishment they would never forget. Everyone else stayed serious, but Emily couldn't control her laughter when Oliver started making strange faces. She burst out laughing loudly. With a mischievous grin, Liam announced, "Emily, you've lost, and your punishment is that you have to sit on the tickling chair." It was an old wooden chair kept in the basement. Laughing and joking, the friends tied Emily's hands to the chair. The punishment began. Liam and Sarah started tickling the soles of her feet and near her neck. Emily laughed uncontrollably, happy tears filling her eyes. The entire room came alive with her laughter and giggles. Suddenly, Emily's laughter turned into a strange sob. She said, "Wait, can you hear that?" Silence fell over the room. Outside, the snowstorm grew stronger. Then they heard footsteps from the upper floor of the villa. Oliver joked, "Maybe an old ghost came to hear your laughter." But Emily's face turned pale. She whispered, "No, I can feel hands on my feet. But both of you are standing in front of me." Liam and Sarah stepped back. Emily's feet began moving on their own, as if some invisible force was tickling her. Suspense and fear gripped the room. That's when Oliver opened an old trunk lying in the corner. Inside was a diary. It belonged to Emily's grandmother, who once lived in this house. On the last page, it was written, "My granddaughter Emily's laughter is the soul of this house. As long as she laughs, I will remain close to her." Tears filled everyone's eyes. They realized it wasn't a terrifying force, but Emily's grandmother's love, wanting to play with her granddaughter one last time. The invisible tickling was simply a way of saying goodbye. Suddenly, the villa's lights flickered. An old wall clock stopped at exactly 12. Emily felt the ropes on her hands loosen on their own. A cold yet comforting breeze brushed past her. Emily looked toward the window and saw a faint smile on the glass. It wasn't fear, it was deep peace. The friends held each other's hands. That night wasn't just about a punishment or a game. It was a night when memories came alive again. The next morning, as they were leaving the villa, they noticed footprints in the snow beside. Emily's shoes, small, childlike footprints, and those of an elderly woman, which led to the villa's door and then disappeared. After leaving the villa, all four friends, Oliver, Emily, Liam, and Sarah, were seated in their SUV. The silence inside was heavy. Emily's eyes were still fixed on those strange footprints. As Oliver started the engine, a soft sound suddenly came from the radio. It wasn't a song, it was an old lullaby that Emily's grandmother used to sing to her in childhood. Emily's heart started pounding. She tried to turn off the radio with trembling hands, but the button didn't work. Liam said nervously, "Oliver, stop the car. Something's wrong." As soon as the car stopped, Emily felt something under her seat. She reached down and pulled out a small wooden box. It was the same box they had seen locked in the villa's basement. Emily's name was engraved on it. Everyone held their breath. When Emily opened the box, she found an old copper key and a folded piece of paper. The note read, "The real reward of the game is still waiting. Don't look back. Just go to the address written on this key." On the other side of the key were coordinates, pointing to an old library just 5 miles from the villa. A mix of excitement and fear led them toward that location. When they reached the old library, silence surrounded the place. The key fit into a hidden door in the farthest corner of the library. As the door opened, they saw a room filled entirely with Emily's childhood photos and toys. There was an old gramophone machine there. As soon as Sarah touched it, it started playing on its own. Emily's grandmother's recorded voice echoed, "Emily, my dear child, I knew you would complete your punishment. That tickling in the villa wasn't just a game. It was to see whether your laughter was still as pure as it was in your childhood." The voice continued, "Your grandfather left a trust in your name, and the key to it was in that box. I wanted you to find it with the friends who would do anything for your laughter." Tears streamed down Emily's face. She realized that her loss was actually her greatest victory. The punishment had forced her to stay at the old villa, and her grandmother's spirit had guided her to the right path. But suddenly, the main door of the library slammed shut. A heavy voice echoed, "But do you really think the treasure will be that easy to get?" A shadow emerged from a dark corner. It was the old library caretaker, his eyes glowing just like the sensation Emily had felt that night in the villa. Smiling, he said, "The second part of the punishment begins now. This time, not laughter, but a test of memories." The friends held each other's hands. They knew this American adventure was far from over. It was just the beginning of a bigger challenge. The caretaker, Mr. Crawley, slowly walked toward them, holding an old leather-bound book. Mr. Crawley opened the book and said in a deep voice, "Emily, your grandmother entrusted this will to me. But to claim it, you must prove that your bond of friendship is stronger than greed." He placed 4 glass jars on the table, each filled with a different colored liquid. Smiling, he introduced a new challenge, the memory drink. All 4 of you must drink 1 jar. After drinking it, you'll enter a world where your worst memories will haunt you. Only if all of you escape together will the key and treasure be yours. Otherwise, you'll be trapped forever in this library's memories. Emily looked at her friends. Holding her hand, Oliver said, "We started this journey together. We'll finish it together." All 4 lifted the jars and drank. Instantly, the library began to change. The walls melted, and they fell into a deep, well-like void. Suddenly, Emily found herself back in the villa's basement, the same place where she had received the tickling punishment. This time, she was alone. She could hear Liam, Sarah, and Oliver screaming around her, each facing their greatest fear. Sarah saw the moment her parents abandoned her. Liam relived his biggest failure. Oliver was trapped in a darkness where no one could hear him. Emily realized this was the real punishment. She closed her eyes and shouted, "This isn't real. Our laughter was real. Our friendship is real. Grandma tickled me, so I'd never forget how to smile." Her voice echoed through that illusion. She reached out in the darkness, searching for her friend's hands. The moment all 4 hands connected, the terrifying world shattered like glass. They were back in the library room. Mr. Crawley had vanished. On the table lay only the copper key and a legal document. When they opened it, they discovered the treasure wasn't gold or money. It was the ownership, papers of a vast piece of land in the mountains set aside by Emily's grandmother to build holiday homes and an orphanage. At the end of the document, a note read, "Laughter is the greatest wealth. Never forget to share it." The 4 friends walked out of the library. As the first rays of sunlight touched the snowy hills, Emily felt something in her pocket. She pulled it out. It was the same peacock feather that had tickled her the first time. She smiled, knowing her grandmother was always with her, to make her laugh and guide her on the right path. This American adventure became a memory that made their friendship stronger than steel. The video ends here. If you enjoyed it, please like the video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.